And we're back at Calgary Barbell once again for some dynamic effort bench day in. And I have come to the sad realization that Dylan helping me figure out this whole YouTube thing, Dylan helping me with picking out cameras, helping me pick out all sorts of camera doodads to make this stuff better. It wasn't out of the kindness of his heart. It was for his own personal gain. And the reason I'm saying this is I've realized that all the help Dylan has given me has just been one big conspiracy that accumulated in today. Because the reason I'm here today is they got this big top secret project that they're working on where they required two cameras that can shoot 10-bit 422. And guess who Dylan told to get a camera that can shoot 10-bit 422? This guy. So, Dylan, I am on to you. I know what you're doing to me. I do not appreciate it. Actually, I really do appreciate all the help. So, if you are watching this, thank you. And I am glad to lend you the camera. And I guess I'll say that to you in person when you get here. But, anyways, goals for today. Just gonna really try to put some spiff on the bar. Gonna try to feel good. Gonna try to lube things up. Gonna try to feel the upper back, feel the groove, lock things in, and set myself up to have a good last big bench session on Friday. And to my present surprise, I don't feel that bad after Sunday squats. I feel like I squatted 400 kilos, but nothing's jacked up. Like I'm stiff and I'm sore, but that's expected. Nothing hurts, nothing's weird, nothing's like that off that I know of. So goal is to keep things feeling relatively good today, put some speed on the bar. So let's get warmed up and get into it. And even if I was benching here last week, dumbass Seth did not make mental note of the rack height he used. So we are going to take a rough guesstimate once again and see how she pans out. I actually think the rough guesstimate might have been right on the money. We'll see. Yeah, that'll work. And shoulder already feels so much better than last week. And I'm running the reverse grips again to further challenge that shoulder ER that has been missing on the pec side. And added benefit of the reverse grip is it makes it more intuitive to really find that depression, which carries over very well to my competition bench presserino. And just running 70 kilo for work sets here today. And if there is anything that I've learned about speed bench in my powerlifting career, is that I can get away with so little on the bar and still get exactly what I need out of it. So no need to load up on here this day. I just need to put the spiff in, contract into it, and I'm going to get what I need out of it. All right, last one of these. And gonna run some comp grip again just to make sure that's feeling the way that it needs to feel. Yeah, that's feeling the way it needs to feel. A little more assertive through the unrack here. And if there is something that's feeling a little bit off on those, it is the old elbows. They're a bit sensitive after that big squat. And like last week, I ran the dumbbell key presses in this slot because I wanted to help to desensitize the shoulder. Shoulder feels freaking phenomenal today, so I'm going to do something that's a little bit more elbowy for me. And like one of my favorite ways to get elbows to feel better in this sort of sensation circumstance is a nice, deep, full range push up with a relatively narrow grip, trying to go for a lot of elbow bendy bend. And calling it a full range push up because hands are elevated, which is going to allow me to drop down between, get a nice little stretch in both the tris and the chest. And then we're just going to push up to the top, get that nice little stretch, and see if we can make the elbows feel better as we go. And like first rep was like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 on the bows. Now it's down to like a 2 or 3, and we're feeling smooth already. So this is the friggin' ticket for what I need today. And not going to push too deep into the effort range. Like all I'm really doing this for at this point is range of motion access, making sure things aren't sticky or sensitive. So not going to do a ton, not going to work super hard, just going to work to feel good. Yeah. And personal preference here, but if I'm doing these with an elbowy intent, I like hands elevated on blocks because the open palm gets me a little bit more stretchy stretch through the forearm, which I find helps make them more effective for the whole elbow desensitization deal. All right, set number 2. It's always like scary up here, like from the pack, like just like being up here before I go down, knowing how sketchy push-ups were not that long ago. Like even though I know the pec's totally good to go, it still is frightening hanging out at the top before I go down. And that is hard enough for today. That's what she said. And we are pushing down, just light again, going for that elbow bendy bend, little tricep stretchy stretch, squeezy squeeze. And if someone does have jacked up elbows, something else I found to be really beneficial is trying to think about almost like curling into the bottom of a push down, like flexing your biceps to pull into the bottom end, getting tension on both ends of that elbow. You're going to help to teach yourself to build the co-contraction coordination necessary to like express force through the elbow well. And it helps you to like get a bigger pump sooner. It just makes things feel really, really, really nice and lovely. So 10 out of 10, recommend learning to like flex and pull into the bottom of your tricep work. Whew. Yeah, there we go. All right, set number 2. And as always, like the intent right now on accessories is not to get stronger. It is to do the minimum work necessary to support this peak. So like if you're watching this and you're not someone on the verge of a 2,000 plus pound total and you're not 3 weeks out from a meet, you probably should be working a lot harder than I am right now. And you need to understand the reason that I am, quote, slacking off on accessories is because of all of the freaking hard accessory work that I did leading up to these last couple weeks that is allowing me to pull back. So like working hard through the majority of this training cycle, working really hard through the off season is what's letting me have the wiggle room so that I can pull back on intensity here so that I can shape the peak the way that it should be shaped. And that pump is catching up. Oh boy. Yep. That is enough to get the job done for today. Not enough to get the job done if this was just a regular training cycle in the middle of an off season or in the middle of a meet prep. And kind of a similar theme Gonna run some straight arm pull downs now. And these are more for bench connection practice than they are like a real lat strength, lat growth stimulus. And the goal here is to let my scaps go at the top, suck the scaps down, and then pull through with a hard lat contraction. And this feels exactly like the lat contraction that I want to have carry me through my bench unrack. And you'll also notice that I'm not pulling all the way down. I'm really just pulling as far as my lats let me pull. If I was to go further down, I would have to roll the shoulder blades forward, which is exactly what I don't want happening on my bench. So I'm just keeping the range of motion fairly strict, keeping it in the lats, keeping the rib cage tall, and just trying to get a really nice, big, squeezy squeeze here. And that is the spot. Yeah. All right, set 2. And again, it's like prioritizing just putting the scaps where they need to be on bench, pulling with the lats, and like the amount of squeeze and connection you can get with these is just ridiculous. So in addition to being good for priming the sensation that you want on bench, if you're someone who struggles with connecting to lats on any of your like lat pulling type movements, this can be a really good way to learn how to contract your lats well. And if we learn to contract our lats well here, we can carry over that squeeze, carry over that sensation to other bigger movements that are going to be more productive in terms of actual lat training. Yeah, there we go. And Dylan made it in. He confirmed his conspiracy against me. And gonna run, well, that's too heavy. That's too heavy for today. Anyways, running incline hammer curls here. And like going back to the old Instagram comments I got when I was doing the flat curl, like if we're thinking about a flat bench curl versus a incline hammer, the shoulder extension stretch demand on the flat curl is going to be way, way, way more intensive. But the leverages on this are going to be a bit harder contraction in the elbow flex position. And with me trying to desensitize the elbows, having that harder contraction with that little bit less of the stretch is going to do the job a little bit better for me here. So that is why I am picking this today rather than the flat bench curls that I've been running on my Friday. And I'm going to just bang out a couple. Now they're getting spicy. All right, set number 2. I just see Dylan in the mirror silently judging me for my vlog technique. Reeling his big fancy light over. Making me feel bad about my lights at home.
Your lights are like the same, just
less fancy.
slightly.
I don't have your fancy brand name. I hate coming here because it's always like Dylan's just like bullying me and peer pressuring me to spend money. He's telling me that I need another camera again just so he can use it.
PS3 would be pretty cool.
It would, but all right. So torso work today. I don't really want to do anything heavy ab right now with where I am in the peak. T-spine is still feeling like a friggin' brick. So I am going to try my hand at a kettlebell windmill, mostly for your own entertainment purposes, partially for my benefit. So let's see how terrible this is and feels. Not as bad as I was expecting. Still feeling like that's not very good range. I probably need to crank on these more regularly through the off season just because this is kind of pathetic, but it doesn't feel as bad as I was expecting. Dylan is judging me silently again. I don't have his flexibility, mobility standards met, apparently, since he is Mr. Lanky Limber. Oh, God, this side's worse. Oh, goodness gracious. Bryce with the sound effects. Oh, we're getting somewhere. And it's like, if you're stiff in a range, moving through that range is going to help you to become less stiff. So that is the goal here. Ignore my grimacing. Oh, gee whiz. That's enough for that set. And move the camera angle just so you guys can see the intricacy of the production setup behind me with all of Dylan's fancy stuff. I'm actually in the way. Oh, there we go. Now you can see the intricacy of their setup. And like, that's probably why their stuff looks better than mine, because Dylan puts more effort into it than I do. So I think like watching Dylan do it is what causes the shame. Because I'm like, I can't let this tall, skinny guy do that much better than me at anything. Like, it's like the feelings of inadequacy that Dylan causes. Yeah. Dylan is the tallest 6 foot tall person I have ever encountered. Right side's feeling better than first set. Less grimacy, less grunting, less adductor screaming at me. Basically, a gymnast as I trip off the platform. And that is that. Aside from Dylan's incessant in person cyberbullying, really good session. Shoulders feel lubed up. Elbows were a little questionable at the beginning, but they're feeling a lot better. And like, I am tired as shit, but that's peaking. Like, that's part of preparing for a meet, is at the end of it, you are going to feel tired. And again, like, that's why accessories weren't pushed exceptionally hard, and they haven't been pushed exceptionally hard, and they're not going to be pushed exceptionally hard until after this meet. But it really is just the name of the game at this point, is doing what is necessary to get the platform result that I'm looking for, and not doing any more. Because when I was younger Seth, when I was dumber Seth, I would still be trying to like squeak out strength gains at this point. And like, when you are a less experienced lifter, when you do have more strength gains that can be made, you kind of can still get stronger towards the end of the prep. But at this point, I've learned to realize that the name of the game is just being fresh, being recovered, being prepared to go when it's time to go. And I think we are in a good spot to do that. And it's always fun just to come in and, even if Dylan is mean, even if he does make me sad, it is fun to be here. It is fun to talk shop with people that are in it as well. And even if Bryce is just hiding back there looking like Darth Sidious with his hood up, eating his noodles, out of focus. Can Bryce focus? Hi, Bryce. Everyone gets so excited when Bryce is in the background, even though he doesn't say much. But, anyways, that's what I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day.